Okay, today we're going to talk about the hydraulic press brake. I want to go through how to set up your tooling and how to adjust your ram positioner and back gauge positioner. To start up with, we need to start the machine and take our stop blocks out and load the tooling we need for our part. So I'll come over here, I'll turn our power on, I'll give it a few seconds for the light curtain to reset. I get a green light, I can use the jaw controls here and raise the ram up. Just enough to get our stop blocks out. Go ahead and take your stop blocks out. We'll set those aside. Then we need to lower the ram to the shut position. Once the ram is all the way down, I'm going to shut the machine off again. I'm going to take this tooling out. I'm not going to put my hands in between the ram and the press bed. I'm going to use a wrench and just kind of slide them out, grabbing the punch from the side. Set that aside. Take your die out. Then you need to select the appropriate punch and die for the part you're going to run. For this particular exercise, we're going to reference part 1. Which is calling for 16 gauge material. We can reference our tonnage chart for 16 gauge material. We need to have a die opening of 1/2 inch. So take our tape measure, look at our standard V die and measure from radius to radius, and that is 1/2 inch. So that's the proper die for the material we're going to run. And then we're going to use the standard straight punch, 90-degree angle. So I'll go ahead and load those. Slide it in from the side. Slide your punch in. We'll grab our wrenches and go ahead and slide those to the center. Always making sure my hands are never in the point of operation, which would be in between the punch and die. At this point, I will go ahead and just snug the clamping pad to hold the punch in. And I'll go ahead and snug the set screw for the die. You can step off to the side and look down the line and make sure your punch radius is centered in between the die. If it wasn't, we would have to go through another process on aligning the bolster plate with the punch. So at this point, I'm going to start the machine back up. Again, I'm going to give it a few seconds for the light curtain to reset, and then I will raise the ram. So I'm going to go ahead and just cycle the ram. That's the up limit. There's two things we can set right off the bat. We need to set the up limit, which we only need the up limit to go high enough to be able to load our part. Our part has 3/4 inch flanges, so we can just have it come up 1 inch and we should be fine with that. So I'm going to come down. I'll take my tape measure and just approximate 1 inch. And I'll come around the side and I'll set the up limit with this gauge here. Another position we need to set is the 2-speed, which is going to be 1/4 inch above your material. So if I just hold a piece of material here, you can approximate that's 1/4 inch. I will go ahead and set that. The 2-speed position will allow you to load your part. We want it set at that 1/4 inch because that will limit the potential for you to get your fingers in between the punch and die. So at this point, we're going to sneak up on a 90-degree bend. I'm going to use a sample piece of material, same thickness as our part thickness, and first we're going to locate that punch. The first sample bend is going to push the punch up and seat it into the punch holder. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and torque down the clamping pad, which will hold the punch in place. Okay, now we can perform our first sample bend, making sure we're holding our material flat on the die, square against the back gauge. Okay, so we did not achieve a 90. We want to make sure we take small adjustments until we get our 90 degrees, measuring as we go. So we're currently at the ram position, 5.448. We are going to make that a larger number. Whoa, not that large. We'll go to 5.550, grab another sample piece of material, and perform another sample bend. Just for fun, I'm going to switch it to the foot pedal. So that automatically goes up to the up limit, and then I'm going to use the foot pedal to do all the activate the ram from this point on. So I can step on the foot pedal until our light is yellow. That signifies that I can load our material. Load material up against the back gauge. You can brace yourself here, making sure our fingers are away from the punch and die, and just let the part pull out of your fingers. Okay, we're getting closer. I'm going to make one more small adjustment. Flip it around and bend the other end. Okay, so at this point we can come over here to our surface plate and double check with our angle block just to get a visual. Looks like I'm not quite there, but I'm getting close. So I'll grab another sample piece, make one more adjustment. We'll go to 5.590. Okay, back to the surface plate. That looks pretty close. We can use our protractor to double check. Looks like we're within 1 degree. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and check the flange length using our height gauge. So right now we're measuring 1 inch 14 thousandths. So at this point, we want to make sure the back gauge reflects what we're actually measuring. So if it's set at 1 inch, we need to go ahead and calibrate it. We can do that by using the step-by-step calibration that's posted right there. So what you would end up doing is hitting on the back gauge positioner, function, enter, type in our password. Each machine would have a different password. 46715. Enter. We type in our code, 65, enter. Now we need to type in what we measured. What we measured was 1 inch 14 thousandths. We don't need to use a decimal, so 1014. Enter. To finish, hit the start-stop button. So that back gauge positioner reflects what we actually measured. At that point, we can jog to the desired flange length. For part 1 would be 3/4 of an inch, so 0.750. And at that point, you're ready to run your part.